Roll call, please.
Gross.
Present.
Bear.
Present.
Ziegler.
Yes.
Sykes.
Present.
And Overberg.
Present. Open meetings law is posted on the south side of our chambers, in the hallway. Outside of our chambers is also on the website. Proof of publication was in the News Times July 1st, and it was also on our website. Review and approve the minutes of the June 27th Board of Equalization meeting.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Gross.
Yes.
Bear.
Yes.
Ziegler.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Overberg.
Yes, and today's agenda.
Move to adopt today's
Thank you.
agenda. Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bear.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Ziegler.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
And Overberg.
Yes. Okay, today is in front of us to hold property valuation protest hearing, and we will discuss and act on these. We have a lengthy list in front of us. Kurt, do you have some opening comments that you would like to make?
Yeah, we can make a few here. All told, there were 65 protests filed this year at the clerk's office. One was withdrawn, and we will be taking up 39 of them today. Most of the ones today are residential or ag land properties. I've reviewed them all, reached out to the property owners when I needed to on some of these. I think I sent you all my list of what I was recommending we do with each protest and my reasoning behind it. So, but again, ultimately, this is up to you guys. These are protests between the taxpayer and the Board of Equalization. I'm just kind of here to give whatever support you guys may want on that. Just for a side note, we're taking up 39 today. The rest of them are pretty much all commercial properties. I will be meeting with our commercial appraiser, Daryl Standard from Standard Appraisal Services. Me, him, and then whatever taxpayer that wanted to meet with him to, see how he came to the values that he set on their commercial properties. We're gonna have those meetings in this room on Saturday the 15th. Saturdays aren't ideal, but that's the only time we can get him in before we had to get all this protest stuff all wrapped up. So at that point then, if we can come to some sort of agreement on protests on that day, those taxpayers, I believe, probably wouldn't feel the need to show up here on the 18th. If they still want to meet with you on the 18th, then at that time I will schedule that time and let Kelly know then first thing Monday morning so she can get that on your agenda for next Tuesday, the 18th then. So.
We will still, because they filed a protest, even if you come to a resolution like a lot of these in here today, we'll still need to act on it.
Oh, absolutely.
The
Yes.
18th.
Yep.
Okay.
So they will be on your agenda anyways, just
Right.
whether they want to appear or not, we'll coordinate that first thing Monday morning, so.
And then as far as what we're dealing with today is the Board of Equalization. As far as the valuations, as you get this unique position this year because it's part of last year, which you weren't the assessor. So the valuations were done at a certain time, right?
Yes, the abstract was due to the state March 19th by state law. That fell on a Sunday, so it was March 20th is when that was done this year. Once that's set, the county assessor is no longer able to change those values unless they are authorized by the County Board of Equalization or by Turk. So I can't touch the values anymore until then.
You just give a recommendation.
I just give a
to change it.
recommendation. So there's two different ways of doing this. There's if they protest their value, obviously you guys then can do that. At our next meeting next week, I will be bringing you a report called the Over and Under Value Omitted Property Report. And that's purely just for clerical errors. For example, there's a grain bin that should have been off of someone's parcel from last year. We knew it should have been off of there. It didn't get done. So we're going to make sure that that's in that report, so that can be taken care of yet this tax year, so they don't have to wait for next tax year, so. And there's several other ones like that as well, so.
So that March 19th deadline where that's turned into the state, and then you're done as the assessor is concerned. But the letters to the constituents don't go out till.
June 1. They have to go out by June 1.
And June 1, they have to be out in the mail.
Change evaluation notices, whether they go up or down.
Right.
Any change.
But for the public, because then that does seem like it's kind of a rammy type period. They got, to go through all this, and if they want to turn in stuff to us, they have to do their homework. They can always come in to the assessors and look at what their new value is in between that March 19th.
Oh, absolutely.
And whenever.
Absolutely.
So it isn't such a, shock or whatever. That's just for public information.
Right,
so.
right. Yep.
So,
That'll be included in the new website, those timelines, those kind of process pieces.
Oh, it certainly can be.
Web has
Yeah.
now, I think.
The-
Anything we can put out there so it's more transparent to people so we can function better.
Sure. And I'd encourage anyone to come in at any time and check out their property record card, because they, unless you know your property better than I do. So we might have an extra building on there, or maybe we don't have enough buildings on there. So it's all about equity and fairness when it comes to property assessment.
So we went through most of that. I just wanted to read into the record that, we did, attend a workshop, and, it, obviously they gave us the Board of Equalization Bible here, as we can call it. And one thing that I wanted to note is, if the protest does not contain or have attached the statement of reason or reasons for the protest, including requested valuation or the applicable description of the property, the protest shall be dismissed by the County Board of Equalization. So if these are not filled out properly, they just shall be. We have no choice in that. Now we can contact these people to say, hey, this isn't filled out right, but this is a little late date to be doing that. Did you have a comment, Kurt?
Yeah, so you're saying anything that's on the form that's saying required, because there's certain things on the actual form that says required, that you need to have information.
Right.
You'll dismiss those if it's not.
If it's not filled out properly, if it doesn't have either the statement of reason or attached statement, and I believe most of these had, something.
Sure.
I suppose even if it says I want last year's, that's a reason.
Absolutely.
So it can't be dismissed for that even, but, so the other one that I wanted to bring up that was, the Supreme Court referenced this, equalization is a process of ensuring that all taxable property is placed on the assessment rolls at a uniform percentage of its actual value. And so we're really not here assessing value, we're here equalizing.
Mhm.
If you did it right, the value's set.
Mhm.
Or your predecessor and you as a combination did it right, it's set. So you wanted to start with some that did not have time frames.
Yeah, we can work up to.
And so you pick numbers out. I suppose that'd be the best way to do it,
Let's
wouldn't
just
it?
start from the lowest number and work our way up.
Okay, all right. These are in some form of order, so I'll jump back here, Kelly. I can get on.
And let me know when you're ready, gentlemen.
So,
Okay. Ready?
And we won't have anybody to swear in, I guess, unless we want to hear Kurt.
Not till 11. Do you
So
want
we're
to
on
start?
number 6, right?
Number 6. Chavanaugh is the last name. The legal's the South 40 feet, lot 2, block 41. I think OT's original town, the city of York.
Of course, it's gonna choose today to be a nice and slow internet.
Yeah. If I bailed off, would that help? Because I do have hard copies here. Yeah, this is one. Okay.
Kelly, what happens when you click on your link on that, your attachment on there? No, below it, right there.
There you go.
Same thing that other people are seeing. It's not one.
That's what you guys all have on yours?
Yep. Yep. It did pop up finally. So,
Okay, so we have the Christopher Chavanaugh, and we do have the property ID, like you say, it is here in the original town of York. And the protest was, the valuation set by the assessor was $229,252. He is requesting $176,353. Your recommendation is, unless you want to change it, I'll just read it, that you sent out lower value due to current condition of property and lack of utility hookups, is what you have on that one.
Correct.
Do you want to add to that at all?
Let me look at this house quick. Talking about memory here. Oh yeah, this is a commercial property. This is one, there was an accident. I think a vehicle went through it actually. The upstairs, while those have been rented out for apartments in the past, that's all gutted up there. There's nothing up there. There's limited utilities into there. And so I visited that taxpayer, and that's the recommendation you see before you is what we.
174,099.
Yep.
And guys, we'll just take these one at a time as we go through them and approve or deny them at that point in time. So.
Just one question I had, just looking through, like, what your recommendation is slightly less than what they had come in and put on their request. Is this just because of the way that it flows in your system, or how did that come up?
Yeah, good question. That's what you'll see is when I look in our system and when I apply the obsolescence, it's a term used to, for here, like they don't have electrical upstairs, then you apply some obsolescence to it because it's not at full use.
Right.
And so by doing that in the system, that's the number I can get to.
Yep.
So it's not, I don't think very, very rarely are we gonna see some that are exactly the same as what they were asking. It's just,
Right.
you know.
No, I was
Let
just
the
curious how that
system
worked.
do its job. So.
Yep, okay, cool. So I'd say we make the motion to, on protest number 6, accept the recommendation of the York County Assessor, setting the total. How do you want these, Kelly? Do you want the land and the buildings and the total?
No,
Okay.
you can just say the recommendation. of the county
Okay,
assessor.
perfect. Recommendation of the county assessor.
Okay, thank you, Daniel.
I'll second.
Thank you, Woody. Any other discussion?
And all this stuff I did give to Kelly prior.
Okay.
To her last week. Probably not as soon as she wanted it, but she got it last week. So.
Roll call, please.
Gross,
Yes.
Ziegler,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
and Overler.
Yes. Okay, on to number 7. I'm probably gonna say it wrong. McInerney?
McInerney.
Okay. I'll just turn these upside down right here. Okay, James is got a protest. The valuation given by the assessor was $76,780. He is requesting $68,500, a little less on the land, and buildings $7,100 less. No improvements have been made in any of the buildings in the past 2 years. Fire in the yard killed 12 trees and shrubs, lowering the property value, not raising it, was his reasoning. Kurt, you have leave as is due to comparable reasons offered by the property owner to lower the value are insufficient.
Correct. That is correct.
Was there any discussion with this individual?
Yeah, he stopped in, my old biology teacher from high school, talked a lot about fishing, not so much about the property. So I will say that's the one plus side of the valuation protest process is getting to meet people and visiting with them and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think he didn't offer any comparables to market sales or anything of that nature to show that the value should be lowered, so.
And then his statement about the fire and the trees and stuff, that doesn't factor in, because that's another conversation.
Yeah, and that's, I don't think that really, in my opinion, doesn't really affect the value of a every property per se too much. So there's some things that are fixable in nature that shouldn't really affect your property valuation. So
Okay,
with that said, you're the Board of Equalization, so.
and once again, we need to follow the same rules as they do. If we're going to ask for a lowering, we need to see some comparables in some way, shape, or form. What's your wishes?
I move to accept the assessor's recommendation on number 7.
Second.
Thank you, gentlemen. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Fair,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Ziegler,
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Yes. And we're on to number 10.
No, 16. Oh, 10, I missed 10,
We've got 10.
sorry.
You probably wondered
Jerry,
how
you
Jerry
did
Olson
that.
showed up.
Olson? Yeah,
I missed those 52 feet. Yeah, exactly.
and it is
He didn't vote, did he?
Zaneta. I'm
It's a good
butchering
guess.
things, Olson, and turned
Mrs.
in
Olson.
a property valuation protest. The assessor's office had it at $61,980. They are protesting this, wanting $37,513. The building was and still used as a storage for personal things, no income, no rented, for as long as we've owned it. Some of this I can't read very well. Lower value, the recommendation of by the assessor is lower value due to current condition and no income generated from the lease and rentals. So now the assessor is recommending the land stay the same, but the building go down, and the total being $40,269. So, and did you have a conversation with?
She did stop by the office and, yeah, and all that, and her son called too. We visited about it as well. So.
Okay.
And this, valuation would be slightly lower than the 2022 valuation, I think. I don't remember by how much.
And this is one where, while it's a commercial property, they're not using it for commercial purposes.
Okay. Mhm.
The land was the same as last year. Well, no, I mean, the
House is down.
building, I'm recommending 33,439 for the building. Last year, the building was 26,386.
Okay.
So the total valuation last year was 33,216
Okay.
compared to the 40,216.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
I move to accept the recommendation of the county assessor.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Sykes,
Yes.
Ziegler,
Yes.
Fair,
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Open.
Yes. Okay. we're
Under
on
what,
to
16?
12, I got 12.
Well, 12 is at one
12
point.
has the time.
Oh, it does, okay.
Yeah.
So does
I'm just
14.
going down the list. So we
14's
got
at,
those pulled
12's
up.
at 1 o'clock, Mr. Chairman.
There.
16,
They can go
okay.
for that. 12's at 1 o'clock
Okay,
and 14's at 11:45.
okay. So we're on to 16
Yes.
first, and we'll have a 17 by the same person. Okay, thanks for paying attention. Okay, so the property, which is quarter, 80? This piece of
82
property,
acres.
ag land,
82
has
acres.
total value by the assessor of $551,291. They are asking for $522,453, would like the value to remain the same as last year. Is the reasoning, and you give us leave due to comparable reasons offered. This must be a copy and paste statement that you got on some of them, by the property owner to lower the value are insufficient. So this is ag land that as you formulate it or it fits into your charts,
Yep.
that's what it should be valued at. Okay,
And Mr. Underwood did come in to visit about them, and he just felt it should be the same as last year, so.
okay.
So do we want a motion to reject the, protest or a motion to accept the assessor's?
I mean, we've been accepting the assessor, it's
Okay.
six of
So-
one, half dozen of another, however you wanna do it, I'll let you.
We'll accept the, assessor's recommendation to, not change the valuation.
To leave it.
Leave it
Okay,
as,
thank you.
the assessor's 2023 valuation.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Brooks,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Ziegler,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
and Omenauer.
Yes. And then,
Number 17, same person.
Different line.
Yeah, different parcel. Same reasoning.
yep, same reasoning,
I would,
parcel is just the land, 137,625, wanting 135,706, so if that was last year's, it didn't go up a whole lot, right?
No.
Okay,
would make a motion accepting the assessor's recommendation to leave the, assessment at the 2023 level.
thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Brooks,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Ziegler,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
and Omenauer.
Yes. Okay. Turn the page. Up to 18. This had, yeah, you didn't see my name up top here. Okay, so we do have one by Mr. Huffman, and this was valued at $15,463. They're asking for $7,600 value. Prior year, $7,461, current 15, more than double. Building for sale for $5,000, and obviously that is the reason. And Kurt, I believe you had a lower value since property is not used for commercial purpose, down to $10,863. And that was one that, once again, did you visit with them?
Yep, they stopped by, they showed me some pictures, they explained that it's not at all a commercial building, and that they told me that they are trying to sell it. I don't really get hung up too much on listing prices because a listing and a sale are two very different things. We don't,
Dream and reality.
exactly. So we don't make assessments based off of listings, we do it off of actual sales. So, but that said, you know, it's small building, they don't generate any income with it, while even though it's commercial, it's kind of just a hobby shop for them, so that's where I'm at on that one.
I move we accept the recommendation from the county assessor.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Ziegler,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
and Omenauer.
Yes. $19.
Withdrawn.
Yeah, that 19 was withdrawn.
Oh. I see a big yellow sticker on there. We like those. 21. Okay, this one was assessed at $108,745 and asking for $74,774. And see file pictures attached. Gives a description of the property. Kurt, have you had a conversation with Mr. Krumrie?
Yep, he stopped by the office and visited with him about his property, and what he described matches what the pictures show, so.
Lower due to incomplete finish of interior and of house, and your recommendation then is $79,675.
Yep.
So just a little above what he's asking, but you came to agreement.
Recommend we accept the county assessor's recommendation.
Second,
Thank you, guys. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Ziegler,
Yes.
Sykes,
yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Stonemeyer.
Yes. $22. This one was valued at $94,440, requesting $92,460, relatively close. Mass appraisal is not appropriate in determining value of property in a rural community that is no business and under 30 residents. Is reasoning, and Kurt, you're,
She owns a whole city block of Lush.
okay. Leave as is due to comparable reasons offered by the property owner to lower the value are insufficient, so. And Miss Hall has came in and visited with you.
She came by, yeah.
Okay.
Move to accept the assessor's recommendation on number 22.
Thank you, gentlemen. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bear,
Yes.
Ziegler,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Yes.
I think I'm done.
Need to have that on recording so you can just push a button. Okay.
There you go.
Okay, so now we have a list and we're starting at 23 and we have several of them owned by the same person. And most of these, I believe, are due to what they feel is hail damage from last year's storm in June. This one was presented at $46,926 by the assessor. $41,926 is what they're requesting. We did not talk about this earlier, but there is a form 425 that property owners can fill out in the year of the damage. Correct? And that wouldn't have pertained to this because that was last year's storm and they couldn't have filled it out this year.
They couldn't have filled it out this year for last year's storm, nor did this property owner fill one out last year for last year's storm.
Okay,
Well, there's an error on the addition for Mr. Swante.
Okay?
See, she's got 3,150 and 28,776, it comes up. Oh, no, that's correct. No, that's.
No, it's 10,000
It's $10,000 off.
Let me see here.
So,
on their side, Kurt.
yeah. So,
They would be
are they asking 31 or are they asking 41?
Where are you looking at?
23,
Are you looking at the actual form? What-
Yeah,
Okay.
422.
Oh, gotcha.
so their requested valuation, I think, was added up incorrectly.
Okay.
So what'd you come up with?
What did the recommendation that I put on there, to
46.
leave it the same?
Okay.
I just, there's going, for all of these except his last one, they're all going to be leave as is. And we do need to make a correction on his last protest that he filed on number 32, so.
If the damage has been fixed, then the value shouldn't change, correct?
The damage has been fixed.
Yeah, they said hail damage due to roof and garage, or.
I don't know if it's been fixed yet or not.
I'm assuming he didn't fix it.
And I'm assuming he didn't fix it, that's why he's protesting it. That's something, if you gentlemen want to get into the practice of adjusting values based on storm damage, we're gonna see these numbers,
Yeah,
protests
absolutely.
increase dramatically, so.
And that's why they do have the opportunity to do 425. And we did do, in my opinion, a good job of advertising that last year. I know it made the newspaper and I know we even extended the period
Right.
for those to be turned into August last year to allow people more time to do that.
And had a good number of people that filed those forms as well, I thought, so.
Right.
Did you have any particular, I mean, on all of these really after your discussion, your recommendation, except for maybe 32, you feel that they've been assessed
I think, yeah, I
correctly?
feel they have been.
Yeah, and they're really, I mean, it was just those, none of them that I saw going through was any different than their reasonings were any different.
The reasonings for all of them look like they're pretty much the same, so there's no comparables offered or anything like that, so.
Now, I did read I was reading off the protest, there was you have it on our sheet here is 49,502. They have 46,926, which is, it's not the same as what you have. I assume we
On
want
this document here is my
Right.
recommendation.
yes.
Is that the same as the?
I'm saying on theirs, not only did they have what they were requesting added wrong, they didn't have the right figures
They
apparently.
didn't have the value I sent.
They had the land right, they didn't have the buildings
Gotcha.
right.
Okay.
So the recommendation of the assessor is actually 49,502. And then we'll take care of this one and then jump right to, because we're just a little bit after.
Do you want,
We can-
motion on all swap?
If you want to take them,
I think we gotta do them individually,
Okay.
Joe.
Okay, we'll do number 23, accepting the, assessor's recommendation.
Second,
thank you. Any discussion? Roll call.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Sykes,
yes.
Ziegler,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
and Obermeyer.
Yes. Okay, now we are at, back to my list. 11 o'clock, a couple minutes after.
Have a seat there.
I assume, Carol, you are here. If we could have name and address for the record, and then Kelly will have some swear in for you, and then we'll get started on yours. So,
Okay, my name is Carol Babcock. I live at 1629 East 4th Street, inside the limits of York, Nebraska,
thank you.
since September. I just heard about the August form to fill out, the 425.
Yes, Form 425. Okay.
Do you raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, go ahead. I'll give you the floor at this point in time, Carol.
Okay. I love these meetings. I learn so much. I'm here because I have questions about your system, and that I always want to know the system. And so my protest, I don't know how to, what the flow chart is to address these issues. So I just did what I got the email on. And so my question is, what Jack kind of addressed was, if my real estate valuation goes up because the hail damage was repaired, is that true or not true? You know, is that what you guys do? Because there's two approaches, is from internal that way, is my valuation up because I got siding and to repair the hail damage, or is it down because it's still a 60-year-old house that needs a lot of work? So if I have done repairs, or is one thing, and if I have done upgrades and remodeling and, you know, upscaled everything and put on a new addition, you know, that's another category. So I'm kind of wanting to know where the decision-making is on that. So if there's only maintenance and hail damage, when does the value of the house go down, and then when does the value of the house go up? And is it related to the house itself, the home itself, the place, or is it related to the housing market? I don't want my tax evaluation to be related to the housing market, because that is a roller coaster. So that's the reason I asked for it to stay where it was. And
Okay.
how often are we reevaluated? Where I used to live, it was it was all odd years.
So those are questions that you and the assessor, it sounds like you either have or should sit down and talk about that. Because once the property is assessed and you disagree with the assessment, is what this protest tell you, then it comes in front of us to either hear why you disagree, or, you know, we need to see some comparables that would show us that, your place compared to others is not the same, you know, so we can see if there was a breakdown in the equalization process that should be systematically across the county. So what we have in front of us is evaluation, and I get back to the right one to make sure the numbers are right.
I just repeated it back to where it was.
Right off of the sheet.
I don't think it's on.
It's right, yeah, right here. So we have 143, the assessor is recommending 143,135, and you were requesting 121,278. And you're requesting this because, as your words say, no improvements to the buildings have been done. The shed is no value to age and dilapidation, only basic maintenance and hail repair to the house of 62 years. So I assume that that's a normal occurrence of assessment that's went on, you know, and we are just here to talk about, do you feel like there's a non-equalization? I mean, that you're being singled out as yours went up compared to others.
Right. That's my question, is that, how is that? What is the county's or the assessor or the county's rationale to increase to an extent? Is it 1% a year? Is it 3% a year? And I'm okay to be in alignment with that, because everybody's wages goes up, you know,
Right.
I understand that. But if it's not in alignment with the standard, then I don't want it to.
Okay. The assessor goes through the process of, and correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, go ahead and come up, Kurt. Goes through the process of assessing properties on a basis of the state wants us to do it every 6 years, right? Or every 4?
Every parcel needs to be inspected at least once every 6 years per state law.
Okay.
It's been the practice of my predecessor, and I feel like it's a good practice to do it at least once every 4 years. That said, an inspection doesn't guarantee an increase or a decrease in valuation. That's just making sure your property record cards are up to date, making sure that, you know, there's everything that it says is on that card right now is what's truly on there physically on the actual property. Sometimes a building will be removed, sometimes a building will be added. So that that's the idea behind the inspections, is to make sure your information's accurate. As far as the changes in valuation, and sometimes, you know, if there is a new building, yeah, your value's probably gonna go up. As far as like the valuation changing, you're not gonna like this answer because you said you don't like it depending on, like it being reflected on the market. In Mass appraisal, it's market reflected. So whatever the sales are doing in this particular neighborhood, if they're trending up, then the other values in that neighborhood are probably gonna see a little increase. If the sales are stale and not doing so hot, then your valuations are probably gonna stay the same or maybe even come down, depending on what the house sale,
So the
sales are doing.
valuations have a potential of decreasing?
Oh,
If
absolutely.
the real estate market crashes, like in a way?
Yep, and I know there's one example of someone that protested their property, it did go down, but they wanted it to go lower, so, yeah. As far as storm repairs, I'm not if you're replacing vinyl siding with vinyl siding, I'm not gonna get too excited about that. Now, if you're replacing vinyl siding with brick, that's
I understand that.
that's a little different, so that's probably gonna increase your value a little bit, but yeah, if you're just replacing asphalt shingles with asphalt shingles, I'm not gonna get too worked up about that, so.
But yet, at the same time, if you don't live with your damage and you do replace the siding and you do replace the roof, then does the valuation?
Well, if you don't repair your roof, then you're probably gonna start getting leaks, and that's gonna affect the condition of your home then, which then at that time, we might see some changes in your valuation, it coming down, but not many people wanna do that.
I
so,
understand that, yeah. I just wasn't sure of the connection, of the relationship between those two things.
Yep.
Okay.
And like the chairman said, everything needs to be in an acceptable range of value. So if a neighborhood isn't in that acceptable range of value, which I think is 92 to, let's see here, residential needs to be 92 to 100%. It has to be, your parcel has to be valued at least 92 to 100% of value. So if it's falling like at 89, a neighborhood's like at 89%, we're gonna have to increase those. If I don't increase them, the Tax Equalization Review Commission's they're gonna increase them, and they're gonna increase them to the mid-range of that.
Okay,
Whereas I could increase it up to 92 or 93. So
okay. And who are your inspectors?
my inspectors, for the residential,
4-year and the 6-year?
we do that in the office. Me and my staff do that. The residential properties, ag land, we need to do an ag land use, gotta check that out this year, make sure it's all up and up. And then we contract for commercial appraisal services. 'Cause I'm not qualified for
I
that, so.
understand that. Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, and how often do we have the opportunity to protest? Every
Every year.
year?
Every year.
Okay.
You'll get your letter. If there's a change in value, you'll get your letter from the assessor. If there is no change, you won't get a letter. The property which you own will be certified to the state by, as we heard earlier, by March 19th. And then you can always come in and ask the assessor what it is valued at, or to see the cards. But then those letters will go out, and then you have the month of June to turn those back in, your protests into the clerk, and then, the hearings are held after they are turned in.
Okay,
And we have to be done with the tax equalization hearings by the 25th. Yes, of July, yes, you're right.
okay, cool. And, it was the relationship between real estate and that. Good. Oh, how does this relate to the homestead? I'm old, I'm 70. So to fill out the homestead exemption stuff,
Right?
if I get that opportunity, if that connection makes solid, does that affect the
Not the value.
process? Okay, okay.
No, it affects the part that you pay. Essentially,
I
if
understand
you
that.
get 100%, or if you get whatever percent, then you pay the percent the state says you qualify for,
Right.
and the state reimburses the county the
Right.
remainder of
But,
that.
yeah, but once we get in that category of homestead exemption, that isn't free reign to have the assessed value go up in the underworld.
No, because I still have to comply with rules and regs and all that kind of stuff, so.
Okay.
So if you have a $100,000 home, their homestead exemption, let's pull one over on the state, we're gonna value it at 500,000. They're gonna slap my hand real fast.
Good, so will I.
Yep.
As
you should.
I think that's all my questions.
Okay,
How do I know if this protest is?
we're gonna act on it right now,
Okay,
And the clerk will send you a letter.
an official.
I'll send you this
okay.
with the recommendation and everything.
Okay, cool, got that.
Okay. Well, there's more Q and A, which is fine, but now we do have the protest in front of us, gentlemen. So, once again, we do have the, I think I moved it. No, we do have the recommendation by the county assessor to leave at 143, 135. And the reasoning is leave due to comparables reasons offered by the property owner to be lower than the value are insufficient, I'm sorry, talking, but, so anyhow, that's what we have in front of us.
Move to accept the recommendation of the county assessor.
Thank you, Stan.
Protest number 30, whatever it is,
35.
35.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bear,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Ziegler,
Yes.
Roach,
Yes.
and Omar.
Yes. Carol, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
And any questions, Kurt's door is always open.
Okay, it's
Yes.
good, I know who
Very
to
good.
ask.
You bet.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Okay, where do you want these separate? Just write in, because they won't be in order.
That's how
I
we
don't
put
want
them in
to
order.
get you in trouble. All right, next up is Yes. Well, this is Patsy, right?
This is not Yolanda.
Right.
My memory's somewhat there yet.
Well, we are getting older. And we don't.
Some of us are.
And we don't look the same, none of us.
Okay. If I could have,
Except Kurt, he looks the same since high school, so.
Well, when you've had this your whole life, it's hard to age, so.
name and address for the record, and then Kelly will have something for you too.
Patsy Downer. I am the personal representative for Yolanda Grosser, for her estate.
Perfect. Do you want to raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have protest number 49 in front of us, and I will give you the floor if you would have some more to state other than what's in front of us.
Okay, I'm kind of in a touchy situation right at this point. I'm not able to go into the house because I have a protection order on the tenant, who claims he's not a tenant, but I'm not sure what you call him. But anyway, he's continually seems to be not caring for the house. We have eviction papers in place, but the house is in terrible condition. He got insurance money, did not fix the house. The roof is bad. What do they call those vents up on top? One of them is completely busted off. The siding, now since we had the storm last night, is on all the way around the house instead of just on the one side. The garage door, looks like somebody ran into it because the big door that you go in is, the bottom of it is going in. Doesn't look anything like wind damage. So the house is in very ill repair. I don't know about the inside because like I said, I have not been able to get inside. I wouldn't be able to get that much money, 39,000 I think.
39,965.
There's no way I would ever get that much money to sell it because whoever buys it is either gonna put in a lot of money to fix it or they are going to knock it down. The property value, I have no problems with, it's just the house. It's just not worth $40,000 at all. So that's my big thing is the house and the buildings, they're just in really poor condition.
Okay, because of the storm last night, and yours will be a unique situation, there is a Form 425 that she cannot.
That has to be storm damage that occurred before July 1st of the current assessment year.
It does, okay, of the assessment year.
The
So
current assessment
she's
year.
stuck in the middle.
So everyone that had storm damage yesterday, it's just bad timing.
So then, will there be no relief for next year? Because it wouldn't happen. So it has to be from J1.
It has to be storm damage that happened on or before July 1st of the current assessment year, and they have until July 15th to file the form. So since it just happened yesterday, it wouldn't
So it is bad
meet the
timing.
qualifications. Yeah,
Okay.
it's just awful timing.
Okay,
Yeah,
Let me tell you, I saw some,
Waco is a real mess.
I saw some brand new grain bins that haven't seen an ounce of grain in them blown over this morning on my way into work, and it
Yeah.
just stinks. It really does, but my hands are tied on that one.
okay. So once again, you went through the assessment process on this one. Your recommendation is to
Leave it the same, yeah, it's already at a low grade, grade 5, the higher than, or the lower the number, so like a 1 grade is your better graded home. This is a 5, it goes down to 6. Good condition, we already have it at a below normal condition. So that's my recommendation. That said, these are your proceedings, so these are your values now.
You know, there's not much more that can be lowered in
Unless we can get
condition.
in the house and see you know, but I certainly don't wanna put you in a position to
I
do
can't
that.
get in the house.
Right,
I possibly could get somebody else in the house, I don't know.
right.
I know that the hot water heater is not in good shape, and I know that there's pipes leaking. There were pipes replaced under the house because he allowed the pipes to freeze and didn't do anything about it. So, let's see, what else? There's a hole in the wall, I do have a picture of that. Yeah, we've all just kind of been real careful about what we do so that we don't give him any fuel to, like I said, we have a lawyer that's working on it
Need
and
action.
so.
Kurt, even if it sounds like it's almost at the bottom, if it drops to a 6, you know, if it was at the lowest of it, I mean, does that change?
It could, I don't have it in front of me here, but that's something we could certainly, if you gentlemen wanted to, we could look at, because we will be here next week yet. If you want to table this till next week, we can certainly do that until because that'll give me, or if we take a break today even, I can go see what the condition of it, what the value would be if we changed the rate of it, so.
Okay. Patsy, you don't have, your main contention would be obviously the condition. It's not, you don't have any comparables throughout anywhere to compare this to say that they're not worth this.
Well, probably.
You don't have any of that though, that you attached to this.
Probably 4 years ago, the condition of the house was.
But I mean, any other parcels, any other comparables for any other parcels?
Oh,
Nothing like that. You hadn't done any research down that.
no, I didn't
that
do
line.
any local, and I don't know that there's any, well, next door, I possibly could. There are a few houses that are comparably they're probably in better shape than the one we
Just
got,
repair.
so.
Okay.
If, Mr. Chairman, you would like me to look to see what that value change would be?
I would like that, to
Okay.
see it. Gentlemen, is that okay?
Yeah.
If we,
Yeah, I think,
table this one for the time being? It's probably, Patsy, it's probably not gonna get it down to the level you requested, but that may be something that we can look at to see if, it would be nice to have some, form of evidence to substantiate those, you know, that, but,
I mean, for other properties that
no,
are,
of that property, the disrepair of the property we're talking about.
okay,
You know, I mean, but I understand the situation you're in, where getting in and seeing that, but we'll have Kurt look at that during a break. And,
yes,
we will act on this later today.
okay. I can possibly, I'm trying to think of how, he's there now, so I can't, you know, the protection order is against him, so.
Sure. I'll check things out on there and I'll give you a call. How's that?
Okay,
Before I come back in here.
Because we're gonna be here into the afternoon.
Yeah.
okay. I'm available all day, so
Okay.
it's not a problem. Okay,
We'll just, I don't think you need to vote on it.
No, I don't think so
Just
either.
pass
We'll
over
just
for now.
pass on this, and we'll take this up after lunch, after Kurt does some more research.
Yep, and I'll give you a call.
We'll have one after lunch.
is there anything I can do? Sure. To help you out with that?
I don't think so, yeah. I'll give you a call.
Okay. All right.
We
Thanks for coming in. I'll
Thanks,
be-
Patsy.
I'll be in Waco. Thank you.
All right.
Okay,
Breaking
good
leads,
luck over there.
Picking up branches.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a few minutes before the 11:30, so, to answer a question that didn't get asked, I would say that we could, if we talked about these parcels, 24, 25, 26, 27, and explained each one, we could deal with it that way because of the landowner, being the same
I
landowner.
guess it's your guys' proceeding, so if you'd rather do it all in just one, if you feel like, the recommendation for now 24 through 31 are all the same, leave as is.
Okay, we got 24. We have it valued, the assessor's value at $33,560, and he is asking for $28,560. Same as before. This is in McCool, and this is due to the hail damage. 25, the assessor's value is $49,966, asking for $44,966. Once again, hail from last year's storm being the main reason for the reduction. Parcel number 26, protest number 26, I'm sorry, is $34,390 by the assessor, asking for $29,390. Same hail storm. Parcel protest 27, assessor has it at $30,551, asking $25,551. Hailstorm being the reasoning. Protest number 28, assessor is $24,347 and asking $19,347. Hailstorm being the reasoning. Protest number 29. $39,584 is the assessor's recommendation, $34,584 is the requested valuation, hailstorm being the reasoning. Protest number 30, $54,043 being the recommendation, $49,043 being the requested value. Once again, the damage from the storm last June. And then the last one in here is number 31, protest number 31. Assessor has a $23,378. The request is $18,292, and that being the hailstorm. So this is the same owner of several different properties in the village of McCool, and the same recommendation by the assessor on all these that we leave as is. Agree, Kurt?
Agreed.
Okay, so we can take 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31. What's your wishes?
Move to accept the assessor's recommendation on the assessment.
Thank you, Jack.
We'll second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Sykes,
Yes.
Ziegler,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
and Overbaugh.
Yes, okay. And then we are at 32, which that one you came to a little bit different.
Yes.
And that one we have it, let's get to the right one on the sheet here. Your value is $45,489. That's what you are recommending, and he did not do any addition on his. So I don't have what he's really asking for. And building's at 18,555.
Yeah.
And did you have conversations with Mr.
I
Swantek
did.
on this one?
And this was actually in our inspection area this year, so we have updated information on it. The house on that property, he did want to meet our staff out there when they inspected it. He was there when the staff was there. My staff went in the house. They did say, yeah, it's pretty bad inside. It's uninhabitable. And so the building, I'm comfortable coming down on that one. Again, to Commissioner Grotz's point earlier, we do have a lower value than what he requested, but that's because when we enter into our Canvas system, that's what we get. That's what we got generated out of that one. The land, we came down on that because it was marked as some of that ag land. We had to change that because it was labeled incorrectly. I think it was maybe as site acres perhaps, and it actually should have been tree covered canopy because it's a little sliver of a parcel. On each side of it, it has tree covered canopy, but the portion of his property that should have been tree covered canopy was classified as something else for whatever reason. I don't know, but I felt like it should have been the same as the other two on each side of it. So we lowered that. That lowered his land valuation down as well.
Any other
That's
discussion on
reflected
this one?
So what values do we end up with? Are we at this 46,830 that's on the form, on form number 32, or?
What I'm recommending is the land be 27,690
Gotcha.
and the building 17,799
Gotcha.
for a total of 4549.
489.
45,489.
Yes.
That's what's on
That
the
is,
sheet.
yeah.
Well, he wrote on his form, it says, request to be TCC. What's TCC?
TCC, I didn't know that either. It's tree cover canopy.
And he has $1,000 an acre.
That's what that's valued at. I think he was getting,
And you're saying, so $1,000 an acre, that would be 40,000 some dollars. No, $4,000.
just on that portion, that's the tree cover canopy.
Yeah.
That was being assessed as farm site, which is 7,500 an acre, which it wasn't.
No,
it's
no
all
way
tree.
could it be farm site,
Yeah,
okay.
farm sites like your yard.
So your land, you're recommending the land be evaluated at what price?
The land being 27,690. Total land on that parcel.
So 4 acres of tree canopy at 4,000 rather than the 7,000 that's ordinarily in the
Yeah.
crop ground.
Oh, that's a 4 instead of a 1, huh? Okay. Move to accept the county assessor's recommendation for parcel number 32.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Yeah, that on there, the site, there was 3.19 acres valued at 7,500. So we had instead of 7,500 to be valued at 1,000. So
Roll call.
Bear,
Yes.
Ziegler,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yeah.
and Fogel.
Yes. Back to the list. For 11:30, we have Charlton property. Okay, were they not showing up?
That's just going for us.
Okay. We'll take it up anyway. At this one here, then we have, what is this? This is number 61, right?
I believe so.
So we have a recommendation for the Charlton property to be a total of 87,608. They're requesting 79,694.
The same as last year.
It was increased in 222. Storms had effect on building permits. Neighborhood is in rundown properties, need to be cleaned up. In floodplain, building is limited. So, Kurt, you're recommending leave as is due to comparable reasons offered by the property owner to lower the value or insufficient. Your recommendation.
Yep. Yeah, they're just requesting just a scotch higher on the buildings from last year, but almost identical from what they're requesting.
Was there, do we know, like, what the reasoning was on this one for the increase?
Yeah, there was
It
a
just-
couple, there was an obsolescence removed,
Okay,
so I don't know why it was put on there, to be
Sure.
honest with
Yep.
you. There was a 20% obsolescence, so yeah, we went through a lot of those this year. If there wasn't any notes as to why they were on there, we removed them.
sure.
That'll be up to the taxpayer now to let me know why, and
Right.
then we'll make notes accordingly then,
Okay.
So, yeah, like even on our electronic system, there's no notes in there that says why, so we can, as we're doing this, if I have an obsolescence, which I did put on some of these that we're talking about today,
Mhm.
I will have in the notes.
Right,
You
in the
know.
future, so that you
Right.
can know why it's there.
You just go like today.
Okay.
I'll look at Woody's.
Okay.
What's your wishes? I'll make a motion to accept the assessor's opinion on protest number 61 to leave the value at $87,608.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Oppenmeyer,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Gross,
Yes.
Ziegler,
Yes.
and Sykes.
Yes.
Okay, now we got a few minutes before the 11:45, so we can jump back to the other list, and we are at number 33, at least that's where I think I'm at. Everybody agree?
That's Donovan.
Yep. Okay, on this one here, we have protest number 33. Assessor has it at 100,296, asking for 72,014.
Which are the numbers from 22, basically. The assessed value of 2019, 20, or 2022.
Did you gentlemen get the pictures that he had sent? Did I include them? Okay. Mind passing these around? I want to make sure you had those. He did offer those to me.
This is a building that was erected on the property. It looks like to live in. While a home is going to, this is the reasoning, while a home is being built, but the home has not been built yet, so they're living in the building. And so it's not, even though it was a garage kit from Menards, it's being utilized as a living space.
Right. These pictures that are being passed around, those are pictures of the interior of the home that Mr. Donovan provided for us. So,
And they're still living in it?
still living in it. I think the idea was, like his protest said, to build a home on that property, and then this would kind of be just like a, I don't know, I think we talked about butchering critters in there or something like that. But with just circumstances, what they are, that they ended up not being able to build their house yet, so they're still residing in it. This is an example why such the increase. There was an obsolescence again removed. That was a 50% obsolescence. We have it as a grade 5 normal condition. It's on a slab, which our records show that as well. And it's being used as a residence, so.
A one-bedroom home, basically.
It's, I think, like you said, there's a bedroom, a bathroom, and then just one big open room. So it's probably not your conventional home per se, but it's.
So it looks very functional to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you look at the outside of the function, it's not a house, what we would call a house. It is a garage that's able.
Right.
I do have.
So,
Please don't lose this. There's a picture of the outside of the home. You want to see that as well.
Oh, looks better than my house.
We'll see in a few years, yeah.
so the main thing that affected the value is the obsolescence
Absolutely.
was removed.
Right. And I don't know, again, there was no notes as to why it was put on there. I am guessing, I'm just making a guess, it's probably because, like Mr. Donnerman said, this wasn't a house kit, this was a garage kit, so.
Okay.
So your recommendation is what?
To leave it what I set it at originally.
100,296.
Right.
leave as is due to comparable reasons offered by the property owner to lower the value are insufficient.
I move we accept the county assessor's recommendation on property number 33.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bear.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Ziegler.
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
And Overmeyer.
Yes. On to 34. This is Mr. Gibbons, a piece of property. The assessor, on the paperwork I had, the assessor had it valued at 72,166. He was asking for 50,500.
I think that one I had an error in my math on there.
And the actual, what's on our sheet here is you're asking for it to be 41,680. Mr. Gibbons did give us some comparables to work off of in the very close proximity to where this acreage is. And you were asking it, Kurt, to be lowered to reflect the current land use.
Yes, so this is a parcel that is, legal terms, cattywampus from the Catholic cemetery southeast of town here. There are plans to develop that corner, pivot corner, into a residence. However, that's not the case yet, so we've returned it. It was valued as it would be if it were a farm site, but where'd that go? We have now changed it back to a pivot corner, because that's what it's currently being farmed right now, so, as far as I can tell. So that's for that.
41,680.
Yeah.
But that's very comparable to the acreage that's just to the south of them within a quarter mile. That's valued at 44,110.
Yeah.
So land is, even on the acreage, is still kind of valued at that.
Well, and that's something, I think I shouldn't say, but with the rural acreages, the sales prices of those here, I might need to start looking at because we have 24.5 for our first acre of land. We might need to look at that here in this year and do a study on that one to see if where we're at, if that's acceptable or not. So, because everyone's wanting to live in the country nowadays, so.
So you've had a conversation with Mr. Gibbons, and obviously he would accept the 41,680, even though he'd asked for 50,500, right?
Right. Again, plug it in the CAMA system, that's what we get, so. Sometimes you get what you want, sometimes you don't, so.
Okay,
Move to accept the assessor's recommendation of a lower valuation.
thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Brooks.
Yes.
Bear.
Yes.
Ziegler.
29, number 40 Balaban / Dorothy, all BLK, 29 OT Village.
Sykes.
Hello.
And Overmeyer.
Yes. Watching videos over there?
No, I'm
Great.
trying to get to these properties, and all of a sudden she starts talking.
Okay.
She's
It
trying to
is
tell you where it's at.
basically 11:45. Are you Matthew? Okay. Come on forward, Matthew, and we'll have you give your name and address for the record, and then clerk will visit with you for a second.
Matt Wilkinson, I live in 2 Quail Cove in York, Nebraska.
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Matt, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I guess I wanted to talk about the property. This year it went up 17%. When you run the comparables, other properties that are, sold at the same time, got 2 charts on there, you kind of track the ones that we looked at also when we purchased our home. If you kind of look at those where they're assessed versus the sales price, they're at about 102, 103% of what they paid. If you look at the comparables, so that sold in the $300,000 to $400,000 price range, 2,300 to 3,100 square feet. If you look at those, we're significantly more than any of them. And then if you look at the, other properties that are 2,600 to 2,800 square feet that sold in the last 2 years, if you look at the average of those, or if you look at, we're even higher than the highest one. So I guess that's why I'm here. I know it isn't in the protest, but 2 years ago, I talked to the assessor about this, and she inadvertently left it too high. She sent an apology letter, and she moved it back down last year. I have that letter if you want to see it. But
30, number 41 Balaban / Jason M. Lots 1 to 7 and lots 17 to
You guys wanna see
24.
that or not?
That's fine.
Fifth Street and W10 back out.
because I know it went higher in 2021, and it went back down last year. Basically, our house is a Wardcraft home.
Where's the volume button on it?
Yeah, that's okay.
We should have talked to you more. Sorry about that.
That's okay. It's basically our home that was made by Wardcraft, right? It's more of a modular home out there. It's not custom made like a bunch of other houses out in that subdivision. And so the inside basically is just builder grade stuff. That's kind of where it's at. I agree, there's a lot of really nice homes down the road for sure, but ours is different.
And this appears, one of the reasons the value went up was in 2021, there was a 10% obsolescence. 2022, that was removed. So the grade was changed as well from a 3 minus 10 to a 3.
Fade out.
Thank you. Now, when you did the comparables, you did them on sales. Did the comparables to houses that are essentially the same, you just went off square footage, not necessarily on compare, the house, the acreage, like the Quail Cove, is it?
I came into the office and he said to do the sales in 21 and 22.
Okay,
For a wider square footage, so I did 2,300 to 3,100 for those 2 years.
Okay.
And that list is there for you, that's all of them. Then I did the closer square footage, the 26 to 28. They didn't have a sale price restriction on it at all. And those are the ones in front of you for that list.
okay.
And the date he's talking about, that's the range of date that we use for sales for assessment purposes.
Okay.
That's why I gave that number.
And this has got the 364/580 as the tax value, but the letter that you had received from Ann said 390.
So in 2021, okay, it was 360 something in 2020. And then she was gonna raise it to 390 something in 2021. We talked about it, she agreed it should be lowered back down to 364 or whatever, but she didn't submit the paperwork to the state in time, okay? So then that year it ended up staying at 393, and she dropped it back down last year to where it should have been.
Of the 364.
Yes, sir. Yep.
So it's been on just a little bit of a roller coaster.
Yeah, well, it shouldn't have been though, because that one just didn't get processed in time. If I'd have known I had to file a protest, then I would have, but I didn't realize, usually I just come in the office and talk to them,
Okay.
it gets resolved, so. Yep.
And Kurt, your recommendation was the market supports the assessment at the current level that you have it at. And you were saying that there was an obsolete that was on there also?
Obsolescence. Yeah.
Obsolescent, I'm sorry. That was on there. That was roughly a 10%?
Yeah, see, that's been going up and down on this one too, even after the construction. The obsolescences, those are used a lot of times on construction. everything's valued as it is as of January 1st. It looks like on January 1st. So if you're building a new home and it's 50% done on January 1st, we're going to throw a 50% obsolescence on there because it has some value, but it doesn't have all its value. There's an example of obsolescence. Some of these where there's no plumbing or utilities in some of these homes on some of these protests, throw a little obsolescence on there too. What's another? Daycares in churches. There's an example of where you would, figure out the whole square footage, and if 30% of the whole of the church is being used for a daycare, for example, then you just, put an obsolescence on it accordingly. So it does have some sort of, that portion would be taxed, but the worship part of it would not be. So that's kind of the story behind an obsolescence. I'd never heard that term until January, so.
Okay.
Do you know, Kurt, looks like most of the homes in Quail Cove may have went up in value.
There might have been a reflection of the market then. Let's see here.
And the square footage of your home?
2,700, something like that,
2,700.
whatever it is, 2717, sorry.
Garage is 1194. How many bedrooms do you have?
Six and 3.5 baths.
All right, we have 7 bedrooms on this one, so.
So you fit more so into the second comparable, the 26 to 28, you're right in that area there. Gentlemen, do we have any other questions?
No. The market supports it, I think we have to leave it. I move that we accept the assessor's recommendation to leave his recommendation, $425,973.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion on this one?
Am I reading this table correctly on this page 4, that in the 26 to 2,800 square foot house, the average house is selling at $334,000 and being value taxed at $334,000? Is that correct?
Yes, the average tax value of homes that sold in 2021 and 2022 for 2,600, 2,800 square feet in York County was $334,358.44.
And
And that's a average on the square footage, if I can input some there. For those that aren't familiar with the city of York, when I'm looking at places from Iowa and Beaver Avenue compared to Eastwoods Drive or Quail Cove or something like that, that's not close whatsoever. So you do have the one on 904 North Iowa Avenue, obviously bringing the average down when that's not even in the same category whatsoever. And Beaver would be the same way. When we start getting to East Ridge, you're getting closer. Beach is east side of town, Delaware, and then of course, Road 17, 1406 Road 17. So I appreciate the work that you put into going and finding those. But comparable wise, it's just a square footage comparison. It's not necessarily comparable in the property values.
Those were the only ones that sold that time
Right.
frame, that square footage.
Yeah.
You get into some parts of the county, some maybe like the smaller towns,
Right.
like a Lushton, we had that earlier, there's just not sales.
Right.
So you just gotta do your best.
There was, mention, did I hear a discrepancy maybe in bedrooms? What,
Yeah, it has 6 legal bedrooms, it has 3.5 baths.
okay,
I
and
told
what
that
do,
to the assessors multiple times rather than.
and what do we have?
We have 7 bedrooms listed,
And so if we adjusted that, would that make much of a,
maybe a little bit,
right?
probably not to
Right.
what Mr. Wilkinson's requested.
And I agree the value should go up some, I'm not saying it needs to be last year's, I'm saying.
Is there anything else that you catch on the card, Kurt, that could be updated? Or the two of you look there?
I'd say the house is in normal condition. It's probably graded correctly.
I just have a question on the insurance, I heard you talking about that from the storm, I mean, we had like almost $200,000 of a storm maintenance, is that factor in there at all?
No. Unless you're bricking that house and selling it.
Okay.
Well, I know, I made the
Insurance will
motion,
not
but if
pay
there's
for
a difference on bathrooms, like we got,
Yeah, the bathrooms, I'm trying to look that up here. Bathrooms obviously have a little more.
It's 3.5.
can I withdraw my motion?
Well, we haven't acted on it yet, so we're okay.
So. Full baths, okay, here we have 4 full baths. And you said there's what?
There's 3.5.
3.5.
There's 3 full and there's a powder room that just has a toilet and a sink.
So can we plug those in? And this would be another one that we could do after the break.
Absolutely.
And plug that in and see where that number came.
But
And because we do have a motion in a second, I would go ahead and call for the vote, but we can vote that number down and take this back up after dinner.
or you could withdraw the motion too.
You could, if you withdraw your second.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear a different number? Okay. So let's do that. We are right at where we're gonna break for lunch. We won't have an answer for you right now, but this afternoon, Kurt has your contact information. We can let you know, and we'll take this one up. We have a 1 o'clock, I believe, and we'll shoot one right here. And then we'll throw it in the mix after the 1 o'clock. Okay? I appreciate all the work you did in going through the process.
Appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you for coming in too.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing the comparable stuff. 'Cause
Okay, at this time, we will recess, and we'll see you back here at 1 o'clock. Does that sound all right?
What time did you say?
1 o'clock.
Why not?